They say a time will come when the earth is crushed under the weight of its own injustice. A time when truth will be silenced, oppression will spread like wildfire, and humanity will forget its creator. But from the heart of chaos, a light will rise. A man whose destiny was written before the sands of time even shifted. A leader foretold by the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself, his name, Al-Mahdi. And when he comes, the world will never be the same. This is the full story of the Guided One, the man who will change everything. Imagine a world so broken that even the most righteous are left bewildered, searching for a flicker of hope. A world where injustice reigns supreme, where corruption poisons every institution, where wars leave no corner untouched, and where the faithful are mocked, isolated, and hunted. It is in this desolate picture of humanity's final days that a promise shines brightly, one carried for centuries in the hearts of believers. It is the promise of a man known not by his achievements, but by a prophecy older than his own existence. Al-Mahdi, the Guided One, sent by Allah not as a new prophet, but as a reviver, a restorer of truth in a world suffocating under falsehood. His story was not crafted by poets nor imagined by dreamers. It was revealed through the sacred words of the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who spoke of his coming in no uncertain terms. Even if there remained only one day in the life of this world, Allah would prolong that day until he sends a man from me or from my family, whose name will be the same as mine, and whose father's name the same as my father's. A figure from the blessed lineage of the prophet himself. A man whose arrival would mark not just an era of change, but the beginning of the final, great events that will lead humanity to its destined end. This man, Al-Mahdi, will not be plucked from obscurity by ambition or deceit. No, his rise will be nothing short of divine intervention. His lineage will be sealed in authenticity, descending from the noble bloodline of Fatima, the beloved daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. His name will be Muhammad, son of Abdullah, a mirror of the final messenger himself. His features will reflect his lineage: a broad forehead, a sign of intelligence and dignity, a prominent nose hinting at strength and resolve, and a face illuminated, not by sunlight, but by divine selection. He will not emerge from palaces or positions of worldly power. He will live like any other man, unaware of the monumental destiny awaiting him, until in a single night, Allah will transform him. His heart will be filled with wisdom, courage, and leadership. He will not yearn for kingship. He will not campaign for allegiance. Rather, the believers, the few righteous souls remaining, will seek him out. Recognizing the signs of the last day, they will know the time has come. They will force him to accept their pledge, not for his sake, but for the salvation of the world. His emergence will not be a quiet affair. Al-Mahdi will appear in Mecca, at the holiest sanctuary on earth, near the very heart of Islam, the Kaaba. A time of great turmoil will precede him, divisions so deep among Muslims that no nation will be spared. Wars so devastating that both wealth and life will lose their value, and an exhaustion so overwhelming that the world itself will seem ready to collapse. It is then, amid tension and fear, that a group of sincere believers will find him near the Black Stone, between the Kaaba and the Maqam Ibrahim. They will plead with him, recognizing the prophecies and the signs. At first he will resist, humbled by the weight of responsibility, trembling at the thought of leading in such a time. But fate cannot be undone. They will pledge their allegiance to him, swearing loyalty before Allah. And thus the greatest turning point of the end begins. The end times will begin. Yet the world's tyrants will not sit idle. A mighty army will march toward Makkah, determined to crush this new leader before he can consolidate power. But before they reach him, a miraculous event will unfold. Allah will cause the earth itself to swallow them whole at a place called Baida. This sign will leave no doubt in the hearts of those who witness it or hear of it, that Al-Mahdi is the true one promised by the Prophet. News will spread like wildfire across the globe, shaking rulers and awakening long-dormant hearts. Once established, Al-Mahdi will not rest. His mission is not to bask in authority, but to reform a world so twisted that right and wrong have become indistinguishable. He will rally the Muslim Ummah under a single banner, dismantling the corrupt systems that have enslaved humanity. Under his rule, justice will no longer be a slogan, it will be reality. The prophet, peace be upon him, described it simply yet profoundly. He will fill the earth with equity and justice, as it was filled with oppression and tyranny. Imagine a world where wealth is distributed so fairly that poverty disappears. Every soul's rights are protected. Rulers fear oppressing their subjects more than they fear losing their own lives. Wealth will pour forth abundantly. Al-Mahdi will give without limit. If someone approaches him for charity, he will hand over treasure without counting. And the seeker will walk away content. Rain will fall generously. Agriculture will flourish. Even wild animals will lose their fear of mankind. Hatred, envy, and greed, the poisons of the human heart, will wither under Al-Mahdi's reign. Yet even with all these wonders, his era will not be free from trials. Great enemies will rise against him, forces that thrived in darkness and cannot abide the return of the light. Battles will rage, blood will spill, but each conflict will only strengthen the unity of the Muslims behind their guided leader. Al-Mahdi's reign will be a brief but golden age, a final glimpse of what the world could have been had it obeyed its creator from the beginning. But destiny holds even greater trials ahead. Beyond the victories and unity, a more terrible enemy lurks, ready to emerge onto the stage of human history. An enemy so deceptive, so destructive, that even the hearts of the strongest believers will be tested to their limits. And Al-Mahdi will be at the center of that confrontation, standing firm, not alone, but preparing the world for the arrival of the only one destined to destroy this ultimate falsehood. It is said that when Al-Mahdi's banner rises and the earth begins to heal from its wounds, the darkest enemy will emerge to shatter the hope that humanity barely clings to. From the shadows of deceit, from the ashes of arrogance, a figure will rise who will claim lordship itself. His name, Al-Masih ad-Dajjal, the false Messiah. When he steps onto the world stage, no soul will remain untouched by his trial. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned his ummah with urgency. There is no tribulation greater than that of Dajjal. His deception will be so convincing that even the steadfast will tremble. Many who once prayed, once fasted, once believed, will fall into his trap like moths to a flame. Dajjal will not simply spread lies. He will alter reality. He will command the sky to rain, and it will pour. Command the earth to yield crops, and it will bloom. Move with terrifying speed across the land, leaving behind followers whose hearts have been snatched from their chests. He will show what appears to be paradise and hell, but his paradise will be hell, and his hell will be paradise. Those who judge with their eyes alone will be lost. Those who cling to the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet, peace be upon him, will be the few who survive. As Dajjal's influence spreads like a poisonous mist, Al-Mahdi will gather the believers and prepare them for what comes next, the ultimate confrontation. It will not be a war fought with armies alone. It will be a war fought within the hearts and minds of men. Al-Mahdi will lead the Muslims with wisdom and courage, holding tightly to the Sunnah, shielding his people with a faith stronger than steel. His stand will not be one of surrender. It will be a stand of defiance against falsehood, a declaration that no matter how powerful Dajjal appears, the truth of Allah is greater. And it is precisely at the height of this unbearable tension, when it seems as if darkness may finally engulf the world, that the heavens themselves will split with a divine decree. Prophet Isa, Jesus, the son of Mary, peace be upon him, will descend. He will be carried by angels, his hands resting gently upon their wings, his head bowed, his hair appearing moist, as if touched by dew. He will descend near the white minaret in Damascus, clothed in 2 garments dyed in saffron, his face shining with a calm yet powerful authority that none can deny. Isa, peace be upon him, will not return with a new message. His mission will not be to establish a new religion. His purpose is to affirm the eternal truth, to complete the mission, to break the cross, to expose the lies that have shrouded his name, and to slay the false Messiah, Dajjal, with his own hands. He will join Al-Mahdi and the Muslim army. When they meet, Isa, peace be upon him, will gently urge Al-Mahdi to lead the prayer, a sign of honor for the nation of Muhammad, peace be upon him. But Isa will pray behind Al-Mahdi to show the world that he has returned not as a new prophet, but as a follower of the final messenger, sealing the unity of all believers. With the armies united, Isa, peace be upon him, will pursue Dajjal. The deceiver will flee, his false miracles powerless in the presence of divine truth. At a place called Lud near Jerusalem, Isa, peace be upon him, will confront him. Dajjal will melt like salt in water at the very sight of him, but Isa will strike him, and with that single blow, the greatest liar the world has ever known will fall. His death will echo across the earth, a signal heard not just by ears, but by every believing heart. The reign of deceit will end in an instant, but the story does not end there. Though Dajjal's threat will be crushed, a greater trial lies just beyond the horizon. From the hidden corners of the earth, a terrifying force will surge forward. Ya'juj and Ma'juj, known to the world as Gog and Magog. Vast in number, savage in nature, they will swarm the earth like locusts, consuming everything in their path. Their violence will be unmatched, their hunger insatiable. Even Isa, peace be upon him, and the believers will find no strength to defeat them by earthly means. They will flee to Mount Tur and raise their hands in prayer, begging Allah for help, and their prayers will be answered. Allah will send down a plague that strikes Ya'juj and Ma'juj at their necks, wiping them out completely. Their corpses will litter the earth, a sight so overwhelming that once again Isa, peace be upon him, will turn to prayer. In response, Allah will send birds with necks like camels to carry away the corpses, cleansing the earth from the stench of their destruction. Then rain will pour from the sky, washing the earth until it is purified once more. The rain will pour from the sky, washing the earth until it is as pure and fertile as it was in the days of its youth. In the aftermath, Isa, peace be upon him, will rule with justice and peace, fulfilling the mission of Al-Mahdi and carrying it forward. During this time, prosperity will reach heights unimaginable. Wolves will graze beside sheep. Children will play with snakes without fear. Hatred will be torn from the hearts of men. Wealth will flow like rivers, yet no one will be in need. Every soul will worship Allah in purity and sincerity. It will be a world resembling paradise, a world humanity has not known since its expulsion from Eden. Isa, peace be upon him, will live among the people for many years. Then, like all humans, he will pass away and be buried in the earth, leaving behind a legacy of truth restored in a world touched by divine mercy. But the story of Al-Mahdi is not merely a tale of future events. It is an urgent call to action for every soul breathing today. It reminds us that deception is a constant threat, lurking even when we feel most safe. Truth must be clung to with both hands, even when the world laughs in our faces. Unity among believers is not a luxury, it is survival. Leadership must not be pursued by the ambitious, but accepted by the righteous, those who fear the burden of guiding others. The story of Al-Mahdi teaches us that Allah's help comes in the darkest of hours, that no matter how powerful the forces of evil may appear, they are nothing before the will of the Almighty, that signs will be shown, miracles will unfold, but only those whose hearts are anchored in faith will recognize them. It is a story of hope beyond despair, light beyond darkness, and victory beyond defeat. Today we stand in a world that bears every mark foretold: division, injustice, confusion, and the corruption of truth. We are closer to the days of Al-Mahdi than any generation before us. The question that echoes in every heart is not, when will he come? But rather, will we recognize him when he does? Will we stand firm when the winds of fitna blow harder than ever before? Will we choose faith over fear, truth over comfort, unity over division? Al-Mahdi's coming is a promise, but our readiness for it is a choice, and that choice must be made. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Because when the world finally breaks, when the earth shakes and the sky darkens, when humanity cries out for salvation, it will be too late to prepare. Only those who held fast to the rope of Allah in times of ease will find it strong enough to save them in times of trial. So remember, Al-Mahdi will come. The question is, who will be ready to rise with him? And when that day comes, when banners are raised and hearts are tested, may we be among those who run toward the truth without hesitation, who choose faith over fear, and who stand side by side with the guided one. Because in the end, it's not just about recognizing Al-Mahdi. It's about being the kind of soul he would recognize too.